Hi, my name is Michael Holohan, and this is an interview with my Aunt Lisa about how my grandparents migrated from Italy to the United States for various numbers of push and pull factors. Some basic information. Where were they from in Italy?
Yeah, so they're from they were from a small town. I always say village, but it's a town called Ataleta, and that's in the Abruzzi region in the province of L'Aquila, and that's in Italy.
What drove them to the United States and kind of away from Italy?
Yeah, so their story's not all that unique. A lot of people had very similar stories. You always hear about immigrants coming to the United States because they're trying to find their fortune. Well, Grandpa Amico did that too. But he wasn't planning on staying here. He and Grandma were married for a short period of time, a few years, and Grandpa Amico was one of three boys. He was the middle son. So they lived on a farm in the hills, and they were poor. They were peasants, so to speak. And the southern part of Italy was always known that way back then, right? So he probably came to the United States 1920, and he came because they didn't have any money, and he knew people here in Pittsburgh, in the Bloomfield area. He was going to come here, make money, go back and buy land. He was here for quite a while, and Grandma Antonia was back in Italy. They had Grandpa Amico's brother had married Grandma's sister in a double wedding, right? So somehow Grandma got notice to Grandpa here in the United States that, you're going to stay there. I want to be with you. And she got on a boat and came over by herself. And my memory is that the stories are that she landed somewhere in New York, I guess, not in Ellis Island, but someplace else like that. And she got on a train, and the train took her from New York to East Liberty. And Grandpa, who was living in Bloomfield, walked to East Liberty because he didn't have money to take a trolley or a bus, and he didn't have a car. Met her at the train station in East Liberty, which doesn't exist anymore, and they walked back to Bloomfield. So they came originally to make money, like a lot of people, and then a lot of people went back, but they decided to stay. That's a long story.
Besides the money he sent back to get her to America, did he send back any other kind of money, or was he like
Yeah,
keeping
that was. Yeah, well, he was sending back money. Absolutely, everybody did that.
Okay. While they were like, when all of them were like migrating to America, did they have any like that anything that hindered that migration to here?
Yeah, but the challenges they faced here were they knew some people. Neither of them spoke English very well. They were poor. They didn't have a lot of money. That's why Grandpa didn't go back yet, because he didn't have enough money to buy any property. But he took any kind of manual labor he could get. At one point, they had come up from Texas looking for men who would go down and help build roads. And
Did they feel like they had to move to migrate to the United States, or they feel like they could have or they could not have? It was kind of more of a choice.
I think initially I think they thought, of course it's a choice. They saw some people that had come here, made money, and gone back. So it was initially I think they thought, of course it's a choice. They saw some people that had come here, made money, and gone back. So it was an opportunity, because people in Italy, now they never talked about this, but the southern part of Italy was not treated very well.
Um, did their migration like go in a series of steps? Like, did they go from like Italy to, let's say, New York and then to some Pittsburgh or a place in Pennsylvania, or did they just go straight line?
So they had the intent on coming to Pittsburgh because the people in their town, in their village, they knew people, other families that had come to Pittsburgh. Okay, so they were planning to come here. There was no other stopping. I told you, grandma came in through New York. I don't know how grandpa came. I mean,
when they came over to the United States, did they like travel, like come in a group of other migrants, or did they just stick with the family?
um, no,
No, okay.
no. So I know it their story is very similar to a lot of other people, but there are parts of it that are just there. It's not exciting. They're just like everyday heroes. They came over and moved. It
Did
would be as if you China.
did they did
Um,
they did they did they like follow what they follow what other immigrants did?
so they followed the people from their old village. They came, and grandpa came the exact same way.
Was another reason they came to around Pittsburgh was because of just the pure work they could find here?
Absolutely. Back then, Pittsburgh was an industrial town. There was a lot of work. Word had gotten to all different areas in Italy and to Ataleta that this was a place where you could get a job.
Like distance decay, like as the further you go out from that core, it kind of becomes less and less relevant. Was that a kind of thing, or is it just kind of like all of Italy?
Like I said, southern Italy experienced a lot of economic depression, overtaxed. They were just super poor on so many levels, and that it's just like now. People who are poor now usually aren't just poor because they're poor. It's because a number of different things happen.